here. Bandit.
So I build things. That's why I'm a blue collar guy. So I've done construction forever. So is my family. So I just kind of naturally got into making a duck call, which that probably sparked for me the most. I used to go up to a guy by the name of Mike Keller's house, and he would help me run a duck call because my uncles were okay at it, but they weren't great callers. They were great at calling ducks, but they were not great at operating a duck call. So I'd go up to Mike's house because he was the comp caller, and I'd tell him I don't care about the comp calling, I just want to learn how to run the duck call better to kill ducks. So I would go down in his basement, and he had all the shelves full of acrylic duck calls. And that was the first place I'd ever seen acrylic. Before that, I'd just seen little wood and plastic calls. So I just got it in my head I wanted to make duck calls. And then that was when I was probably 18, 19, 20 years old, somewhere in there. So then it took a while yet, and then I just thought about it for a long time and finally decided to try it. So that's what got me into turning them, but I like to build things more than anything. So this is the kind of the showroom area, more of a greeting place, and then we keep finished calls out here, t-shirts, stuff to look at, but more importantly, there's stuff in this room that means something to me. So if you look up in the corner, that is my dad's shotgun. So, and he passed away, but that is his shotgun, and it was my grandpa's shotgun before that. It's just an old Savage, I don't even know the model number, but it's kind of an A5 copy because the barrel actually moves up and down on it. So that's my dad's old shotgun. And then that was one of the first like nicer Coca-Cola calls that I made hanging on it. And I was so proud of them. I gave one to my dad, I gave one to a couple other relatives, a few friends. And then next to that, I have my dad's flag because he was in the Air Force, and then I have my wife's dad's flag because he was in the Navy. So we have our parents' flags that sit up in the shop. And then if you notice, there is a few calls kind of around the perimeter. And these are the same calls that I kept in the old shop above the lathes that everybody used to ask me about. So I've never actually gone over them with anybody, so I figured I'd get a few down and kind of show. They're kind of history of me, but they're some are prototypes, some are just, like I did a logo for a company that I thought was cool, so I saved them. So this is that's the second comp call that I tried to make for Main Street. I thought I was pretty snazzy with that engraving when I did it. And then a guy hand scrimshawed that when I was at a show. And then this was the first comp call I tried to make. We didn't make very many of these, so if you have one, it's rare. Maybe 12, a couple dozen, wasn't very many. Some of you guys might remember this, but the original QTs had that barrel shape on them. So that is the prototype for it. So I grew up for a while, I grew up on false calls. So that was my goose call that I hunted with when I was probably 19 or 20. It's just a long reed call, doesn't do a whole lot. And that's kind of what's up here. It's like I said, it's just kind of a hodgepodge of this and that, different things. If I find something interesting call-wise, I stick it up there. So it's kind of one of the first things you see when you come in the shop. So I started turning them in 2002 or 3, and they were plastic inserts that I was tinkering with, and then just wood barrels, and not very good on like maple or just cheap wood. So I started making those, and a couple years went by, and I learned a little bit of tone board math, and I learned what a few different things do, but everything was by hand, so it's hard to repeat. So about 2004 is when I thought I was building a call good enough to start selling. So that's when the company was formed. But probably took another 2-3 years to build what I would consider like a really good call. But yeah, so probably about, 2007-ish, 2008 is when the calls really, in my opinion, got better. So was Mo, my wife, on board the whole time? When I first started doing it, it was just kind of a fun thing, so she wasn't too serious about it, and mostly it was just something I was spending money on, so probably not. But she's always pretty supportive. I got a pretty good girl. Now in 2008 when it crashed, and we needed money, then you start to see a little money off of it, or it pays a car payment, or it makes a mortgage payment. Then that gets you a little more like, yeah, you might be doing something. So then she got a little more on board with it. And then eventually what happened is she went from working full-time to part-time, and then it got too much for me to handle by myself, so she started participating on half of her work week. And then eventually I made her quit a job to come on board full-time. I actually made her quit during duck season because I couldn't hunt because she was at work, so we were filming and I had to hunt, so I made her call into her job and quit it right then. She's been full-time ever since. So, yeah, she quit on a cold front. Yeah. So.
That's true love right there.
That is. Yeah.
Good.
Yeah. So, yeah, my wife legitimately quit work because I had a cold front coming and had to hunt. I build, she does all the office work. Everything we do is what I've created. Now, that can be touchy because you're making a J-frame call. Obviously, somebody made one before me. But the math that's on the tone board is my math. That is not taken from anywhere, that's my math. So, I mean, it's essentially, that's what we sell. I build math that makes the sound of a duck. There's a little tone board, it's under 2 inches long. The math that cuts that shape out is what I build. The math that's behind that, on the exhaust, that's the other section of math in a duck call, and then the math on the barrel. So I sell math. I sell dependable math because it works when you duck hunt. So that would be what I want to be known for as a duck call guy, is we build math that works and works very, very reliably. One of the things I generally tell customers is, I don't care for the only one you use, I just want to be the best one you use. So that's one of my big things with customers, is I want to help you hunt the best you can hunt. So if my call helps you kill a few more ducks this year and keeps you hunting, that's why I make it.